Trend Out Loud, coming at you once again for our afternoon wrap up. Court is adjourned for the day. Um, as you know, at the end of every day, we give you guys a full wrap up. We get you guys in the morning at 7 a.m. I come out at lunch for about half an hour, let you know what's going on. And then my favorite time of the day, I can relax a little bit, come out here and talk to you guys fully, get into the comment section, answer some questions. And a lot of you guys have a lot of great feedback that I'm able to use in future lives. You guys are right up to date with everything that's going on. So my favorite time of the day is when I'm able to speak with y'all, all right? Yes, Melva, you're saying what? Yes, you are probably saying that because of the thumbnail and because of the title. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, let me just start off today's live with a bang. Diddy could be going home tomorrow. Diddy's defense team is going to try to present Rule 29, which is a motion to not even have the case go to the jury. They feel like they have grounds. I will tell you all about it. It is possible that this whole entire trial is over tomorrow afternoon at the end of the day of court. Might even, if it gets approved, it probably won't even get to the end of the day, all right? So sit tight. I will break everything down to you. I'll let you know what Rule 29 is about. Just for anybody who's new that's going on here, I am inside the courtroom. I am in the front row where all the content creators are. Diddy's mom sits a couple of benches away from me, and then there is Diddy. I'm live. I'm giving you on point reporting, all right? Letting you know what is going on. I will break down everything to you. Trent, good to see you out in the studio live. Time is so refreshing. Thank you, Lisa Davis. All right, I have a lot to get to today, and so let me start out. I'm going to give you guys a rundown. All right, I have a lot of stuff to get to. I got my napkins here. I feel like a preacher. I'm gonna be preaching today, y'all. I'm gonna preach. I'm gonna tell you about Diddy and how he's gonna try to go home tomorrow, y'all. All right, let me give you a rundown of what we'll be talking about today. So I'm going to talk to you first about something I talked about this morning, but we're going to give you a quick summary for those who didn't catch this morning's live. We are going to talk to you quickly about the jury verdict instruction. Then I'm going to talk to you about the schedule for the rest of the week. Then I'm going to talk to you about something that one of the security guards told me, which I thought was very telling. We're going to discuss Diddy going home, not for the Rule 29, but about Diddy going home and if his defense teams are making the right decision. I'm also going to talk to you guys about the jury seating. I've yet to do that. I actually made a little chart here. You guys can see it. I'm going to break down and talk to you about juror number 1, juror number 2, 3, 4, all here all the way to 12. 13 and to juror number 18. I'm going to do a little bit of breakdown because what I want to do is while I go through today's testimony, I'm going to take time out to tell you guys what the jury is seeing and what kind of reaction they're giving us, okay? That is one of the advantages of sitting in the actual courtroom, not the overflow room or reading the testimony at the end of the day, the transcripts. I'm giving you live feedback of what particularly what the jurors are seeing, okay, and how they're feeling. Then I'm going to give you a rundown of today's testimony. There was only one person testifying today. His name is Joseph Ciriello. Sorry if I'm pronouncing his last name wrong. I'm going to tell you about the freak-offs that came about today. And I actually saw one of the freak-offs. Diddy's lawyers made a mistake, and I got to actually see the freak-offs. I went outside and washed my eyes after. I'll tell you about that. And then we're going to end today's live with talking about Rule 29, Diddy trying to get his, Diddy's defense team trying to get him home tomorrow, okay? So let me start off quickly, and I'm sorry today my notes are going to be a little all over the place, but I'm going to try to stay on point, okay? So the jury verdict instructions. What jury verdict instructions are a set of instructions to the jury. Before the jury gets the instructions, the defense gets to say, hey, I want the jury instructions to be this, that, this. The prosecution also has their chance to say, I want them to see A, B, and C. I want them to vote this way. Over the weekend, they were deliberating back and forth. I'm not going to go into it in depth. I did it this morning. But the defense came out with like a laundry list of 6 or 7 points that they wanted the jury to take into consideration. Then Sunday, they came out, you're like, you know what, Your Honor, forget about that list that we sent on Saturday. We just want it to be simple. We wanted to say, RICO, guilty, not guilty. SEX trafficking, guilty, not guilty. The reason why I think they did that is the reason why you're gonna hear in this live that I feel Diddy's defense team is really trying to simplify it and get the jury home. I'll tell you a little bit about what I'm going to talk about later on. This jury is tired, they are fed up, and they want to go home. And the defense team knows that. They don't want to even confuse them with jury verdict instructions. They want to keep it as simple as possible. And I feel Diddy's defense team feels like that is the best way to get Diddy off of this case, or at least get him off on the RICO and SEX trafficking for force, fraud, or coercion. Diddy's defense team is really trying to simplify things for the jury. These people and their horns and ambulances, can't they see I'm working out here, yo? My gosh. Okay, so that is it with jury selection, okay? They still have not decided on the jury verdict instructions. They are going to take time out Wednesday to talk about that before they send before they charge the jury. Charge a jury means, all right, jury, this is what his charges are. This is what you have to consider. This is what's grounds for RICO. This is what's ground for SEX trafficking. They break it down and let the jury know, you must take this testimony. You must listen to this. If A and B equals C, if 1 + 2 = 3, you must find guilty, or vice versa, okay? They are still working on that. There are reports that that is done. I'm here to tell you that is not done yet. Okay, that is jury verdict instructions. Now let me talk to you about the schedule. I'm gonna stay in order and talk to you about what the schedule was this morning, and then let you know what the schedule was before court was adjourned today. It has changed, and there's a major change, but let's stay in order. I always ask you guys, you want me to jump around? You always want me to take you through the day. This morning, I'm very happy how organized I am. So this morning's schedule was, Diddy's defense team says, Your Honor, we're gonna need today for the prosecution to finish up with Joseph. We'll try to cross-examine. We think it's gonna go a little bit into Tuesday. Then we wanna go and talk about some inconsistent testimonies with the prosecution. I think they're really gonna try and get Bonna's testimony thrown out, a couple of other things. It's their last try, their last hurrah. Then they also said, we might bring some summary witnesses of our own. Just remember, Diddy's defense has a right to bring up their own witnesses. And they told us this morning that they might have 1 or 2 days of testimony, maybe just 1 day. So that's why they let us think that it would be Tuesday or Wednesday. Then they said they will bring closing arguments on Thursday, and then the jury will be able to get the case and start deliberating early Friday. Just keep that in the back of your mind because it changed throughout the day, and I'm gonna tell you at the end of this live what the new schedule is. As I said to you guys on a bunch of these lives, you have to think of Diddy's defense team as a coach at the Super Bowl. You sit down in your room, in your office with your assistant coaches and other head coaches, and you're like, all right, before we get to play the game, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, this is what's gonna happen, this is gonna happen. If this happens, if we keep on getting sacked, if they, if our running plays are not working, we're gonna try to pass, we're gonna do. Diddy's defense team every day are watching the jurors. That's exactly what I told you. It all has to do with the jurors. It has nothing to do with what I think, what you think, what anybody else thinks. It only matters what those 12 jurors and those 5 alternates, those 17 people, they are studying the jurors every day, and every single day come out and talk to you guys, they're changing. That's why they're doing an amazing job, because they're changing. Oh my gosh, don't play music on my live. Don't listen to this, YouTube. No music. Hold on, I gotta talk over this. I don't wanna be demonetized. Whoop, whoop. No music, no music. Jeez, YouTube, that was not my music. YouTube, that was not my music. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so that was the schedule for today, okay? Put a pin on the schedule. Now, let me go back to my list here. Hold on, what's the next thing I'm gonna talk to you guys about? I'm gonna talk to you guys about a security guard. I told you this at lunch, but I just want to remind people because it goes it's very important to the rest of the live. Now, this morning I was talking to a security guard that was in the courtroom, and he's been there for the past 25 years. He told me this morning that he finds that the prosecution is extremely repetitive. He says that this is one of the most boring cases that he has ever had to sit through. He has been working in this building right here, 500 Pearl Street, which is a federal building for the past 25 years. That is his courtroom. He is going to be the one that brings the verdict to the judge. He is the man, okay? I talk with him every day. Very, 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 very nice man. Joking back and forth. We build a great relationship. When he told me that today, that is very, very telling. Again, this is why I try to make sure that, to be in the courtroom and not the overflow room or read things on Twitter. You're able to read the people in the room, and you're able to build relationships and get this kind of information. Of course, I cannot give out his name. I don't want him to get in trouble, but him telling me that is a window into how the jury is feeling, okay? The jury, of course, doesn't have 25 years experience, but if the security guard feels like if the security guard feels like the prosecution is being redundant, just imagine what the jury feels. He also said, which I thought was shocking, he said most judges would not allow the prosecution to be this repetitive. We all know why the judge, let's give him a little grace here, the judge is allowing for a little bit of repetitiveness because we all know that Diddy does not have nearly the amount of testimony that the prosecution has in terms of witnesses. So we do know that they're trying for a mistrial, and I know they're trying for an appeal. If you know that as a judge that, hey, their main goal here is going to try to be an appeal, you want to allow the prosecution to lay out a strong enough case as possible so that if it ever comes down to appeal, it's like, yo, we had all of these witnesses. That's why the prosecution is being extremely repetitive. But I think it could come back and bite them in the butt, okay? We'll talk about that more a little bit later. Now, before we get into testimony, I want to just go over strategy, okay? And I want to ask you guys, and I'll come back later and you tell me what you think. Diddy's defense team first started out saying they need 2 to 3 weeks on the stand. Then it was 1 to 2 weeks. Then it was 2 to 5 days. And then on Friday, I told you it was 1 to 2 days. I actually have an update today. But do you think Diddy's defense team is making a mistake by making a smaller defense? Do you think that will allow Diddy to go home? Let me give you guys a little bit of context to that. There could be a reason, a strategy, why Diddy's defense team does not want to have the people testify that they had planned to testify. Let me tell you why. One small example is Brendan Paul. Brendan Paul got on the witness stand for the prosecution, and he said he has never seen Jane be hesitant or feel like she was coerced. Normally, when the prosecution has a witness on the stand, the witness doesn't say things that lends credibility to the person you're trying to put in jail. The prosecution is trying to make Diddy seem like he had Cassie and Jane do freak-offs under force, fraud, and coercion. They asked Brendan Paul, the alleged DRUG mule, did you ever see Jane be hesitant? No, and they said he was the one that was setting up a lot of the freak-offs, a lot of hotels. He has admitted that. He was under... he got immunity. He was allowed to talk very openly. He said, I set up many rooms and I've seen Jane many times before and after. Did you ever see her hesitant? No. Did you ever see like she was not willing? No, she actually seemed happy before and after. The fact that the defense was able to get Brendan Paul to say that, that is testimony for Diddy. That is already a defense strategy. And that could be a reason why the defense doesn't feel like they need to put on a case. They don't feel like they need to put on anybody as a witness because they've used so many of the prosecution's witness as their own witness during cross-examination. He also said, Brendan Paul, that when the prosecution asked him, hey, did you ever secure DRUGs for Diddy? He said yes. They actually, when he was arrested, they caught him with Diddy's DRUGs. They asked him how many times. And Brendan said, more than 5, but not more than 10. Now remember, Diddy is not on trial for DRUGs, or possession. He is on trial for RICO, SEX trafficking. Is one of Diddy's assistants, or DRUG mule, saying over the past 2 years he didn't get DRUG for Diddy more than 10 times? Is that enough to put into a RICO? He didn't walk around with briefcases of keys or have these big duffel bags of DRUGs. They didn't have like, you know what I mean? Like they weren't growing stuff. It wasn't as big as we have assumed, the public. Again, they got that out through one of the prosecution's witness. Diddy doesn't have to now put somebody on the stand that says, yes, does Diddy do DRUGs? Yes, he does, but he does it recreationally like almost everybody in the entertainment industry does. Keep in mind, I understand it is still illegal. It is still illegal to do illegal DRUGs. However, you have to be able to prove that it's beyond just personal consumption if you wanted to apply to a RICO charge, okay? So I'm just giving you guys two small examples. We could go to Jane, we can go to a bunch of other witnesses that the prosecution questioned during cross-examination and made them indirectly testify on Diddy's behalf. Here's another reason why the defense might not want to put on somebody on the witness stand. Diddy could put on somebody from Bad Boy that says, he's a great boss, he was amazing to work for, I've only seen him do DRUGs for recreational purposes, he's amazing. But that person might say great things, but they also will be subject to cross-examination, and they also might get tripped up on the stand. Just like how the prosecution's witnesses are getting tripped up on the stand, Diddy's defense team might be looking like, yo, we are ahead of the game right now. Why should we put somebody on a stand potentially for the prosecution to trip them up and turn them into one of their witnesses, just like how we have kind of flipped Brendan Paul to make him one of our witnesses? That could be a reason why they're not putting them on. And I said this earlier, the defense could be reading the room and seeing the jury, and they don't feel like they need to put on a defense. The jury looks like they are fed up, and what we could definitely tell you is that Diddy will not be testifying, okay? Diddy will not be testifying. So if you know they've flipped a bunch of their prosecution's witnesses, if you know that they run a risk to be cross-examined, if you know that they're reading the room, if you know that the jury looks fed up, and you know for sure as a defense team, Diddy is not gonna take the stand, who is there left? Who is there left to put on the stand for the defense? I challenge you guys that. Put it in the comment section below. I'll get to it by the end of the day, okay? So let me just check my schedule where I'm at. I think I'm doing actually pretty good. Go Trent, get busy. Bam, 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 bam. All right, so now we are at number 3. Let's talk about the jury seating. I'm sure that you guys are anxious to hear about this. A couple of you guys have asked me, and this is the first time I'm actually doing it legit, writing it out, okay? So keep this in mind, because when I talk to you about the testimony, I'm gonna give you little breaks and let you know how I feel each juror is feeling. And I highlighted 3 of them here, okay? So I hope you guys can see this. So this is juror number 1. He's a white man. I have no read on him. Because the podium sits here, I can't see these 3 jurors. I only see them when they walk in and when they walk out. I can't really read their face. I hope you guys are seeing this. So juror number 1 is a white male. Juror number 2, a white male. Juror number 3, white male. I do not have a read on these guys. Juror number 4 is a black woman. She turns her back to the gallery. I can't get a read on her. I only see her back. Juror number 5 is a black woman. She's young. I can get a read on her. I'm not too sure whose side she's on. It's tough. Depending on the day, I feel like she's kind of in the middle, okay? I feel like she may have a not guilty verdict or may have a reasonable doubt. That's why I put a question mark. Now, this would be the spot where juror number 6 is, but juror number 6 got dismissed. So he was sitting here. Juror number 7 is here now. He is an Indian man. I think they said that he's an accountant. He is very serious, cannot get a read on him. Juror number 8 is a white man. I feel like he could be on Diddy's side. I have a question mark. I feel like he could have a reasonable doubt. Number 9, a black woman. I call her the grandma or the auntie. She's around 65, 7 years old. I'll tell you guys why. I think she is a non-guilty vote. I really feel like she is a non-guilty vote. I watch her all the time. I'll let you know throughout the testimony why I think she's not guilty. Then number 10 is a white man. I don't have a read on him. Juror number 11 is a black man. He looks like he could be African. He looks like he's maybe around 35, 40. Very stern face. It's hard for me to get a read on him, but I feel he could be potential. This here, number 12, is a black woman. I feel like she is a non-guilty vote. So these are my 2 non-guilties, juror number 9, juror number 12. Again, just to say, this is just my opinion, reading the room, we have no idea. We're not allowed to talk to them. We're not allowed to have any information. This is just from what I see. I feel like juror number 9 and juror number 12 could be not guilty, and juror number 8 and juror number 5, they're wondering, they're questioning. Juror number 13 is a white man. I don't really have a read. He's on the end here. I don't see him like pretty clear. And then these are the alternates. Juror number 14, this is the young black guy who I feel is like from Brooklyn or the Bronx. He is who I think the defense team was trying to get juror number 7 out, or vertical juror, to bring him in. Although his back is turned to us, just by how he walks in and by how serious, and I feel like he's a street dude, I feel like he would be a non-guilty. And these 4 other jurors up here are alternates. They're not gonna get on, so I don't really pay much attention to them. So 2 is question. Sorry, 3 I question, maybe not guilty, and 2 I think is not guilty. And just remember, a non-guilty is a hung jury, and Diddy could get off if they have a reasonable doubt, okay? Again, just my opinion. It's no sort of facts. This is just me being in the courtroom, looking at the jurors, drawing my own conclusion. Some people might read it completely different. I talk to people at lunchtime and they're like, oh my gosh, you think that grandma's on his side? I'm like, no, I don't think she's on his side, but I just think that how she looks, where she comes from. If one thing I know older black women. My mom is an older black woman. She's Jamaican. You know, my aunts, you know what I mean? Like that I come from a West Indian family. She looks like she's an older West Indian woman to me, and I feel like I can read her and understand her. And when I talk with my mom and I talk with my aunts, I know what they say. So from that conclusion, I feel like she may have a not guilty verdict, okay? Again, asterisk, just my opinion. Okay. Now, let's talk about today's testimony. I'm gonna run through it quickly. I'm gonna tell you guys about the freak off that I saw, crazy work. And then we'll talk to you guys about Rule 29 and how Diddy could be leaving this court tomorrow, a free man, right out of that door into the Sprinter that his mom and kids leave with. It could be that easy. It could happen. Even the judge said today, hey, let's not make too many plans because we have to hear Rule 29 and we don't know how I'll rule on it, and it could all be over tomorrow. Those are the judge's words, not mine, all right? That's how you know how serious it is. I've seen people like in the comment section saying, yo, that's impossible in your dreams. Again, none of this is my opinion. None of this is what I think or what I hope. I have no skin in the game. When the prosecution does a great job, I say they do a great job. When the defense, they did a great job. I'm just reporting what is going on, giving you the what my eyeballs are seeing, and it's to you guys to decide what you come up with and how you think, okay? Give me a second, let me drink some water. Woo! It is hot in New York City, let me tell you guys, okay? Woo! My water has gotten hot, it's not even, it's not even cold anymore, but it's still good. All right. Somebody said sidebar. Facts. Okay, let me go into today's testimony. Now, where do we start? Okay, all right, here we start right here. So let me start off by saying something that you guys have heard me say, and I understand it might be a little annoying. The day started out an amazing day for the prosecution, but it ended off with an amazing day for the defense. It's a masterclass from the prosecution and a masterclass from the defense. Joseph Soriello, again, sorry if I'm pronouncing his last name wrong. He is a Homeland Security Special Units agent. He was not involved in the case whatsoever. He was there to verify the charts. What is a summary chart? A summary chart is kind of basically like an Excel spreadsheet. So instead of just handing over a bunch of emails, a bunch of videos, and a bunch of text messages, they need to put everything in a summary chart for the jury. So when they're going through deliberations, they can click and be like, oh, Cassie texts Diddy. Boom, let me open up and see it. It's really just summarizing what the prosecution is putting together. And this, they just get somebody who works for the government to verify so that the jury doesn't think, hey, Maureen Comey put this together and yes, she's biased. No, this is an outside person who works for the government and is verifying that yes, this text message that the prosecution said that Cassie texted Diddy, I verified with the cell phone records, this really was a text message. He's verifying the freak off videos. Yes, The prosecution said this is a freak off video. This is it. I checked the metadata. This is real. It's not a fake. It's not a deep fake or whatever. This is what this guy's job is to do. Sidebar, it's a little bit of a tactic by the prosecution to bring a summary witness at the end. Yes, they're summarizing, but they're summarizing text messages from Jane, Cassie, KK. It's a way to remind the jury what they just heard for the past 6 weeks. Now, they had a summary witness that summarized Cassie, and now this summary witness is summarizing Jane. Jane was 2 weeks ago. Just want to remind the jury one more time about the freak-offs and about Jane's text messages, okay? So he testified that he got thousands of text messages, thousands of emails, and thousands of exhibits, and this was from May 2021 until August 2024. That's why there's no Cassie, okay? I'm gonna run through quickly, guys. So there was text messages between Cabal. There was text messages that Diddy paid for his flights for SEX trafficking. That goes to the last charge, XES trafficking for the sake of selling somebody. There was text messages between Cowboys and Angels. That was Diddy's kind of agency that he found a lot of the guys at. Don't forget, it wasn't quote unquote, you know, paying for services. It was paying for time. It was paying for entertainers that were supposed to be dancing and entertaining you, and whatever happens when they get there happens, okay? There's text messages between Cabal and Jane. There was hotel damages with receipts of $10,000. There was Antoine and Jane. Sorry, let me skip here. There were, whoop, whoop, whoop. There we go. Hold on. Okay, here, no, we're gonna pass that. We're gonna get to 29. Top of the date, we did that. Hold on. Okay, so there was text messages that was, Diddy was telling some of the girls that are telling Jane that there's plan B in the drawer. There was text messages between Benny the jeweler. There were multiple explicit videos of Jane. Let me stop and pause right here because y'all always want to hear about the freak offs, the freaky deaky diddler. I witnessed with my own 2 eyes an actual Diddy and Jane freak off. And let me I want to forget what I saw, okay? So they asked him to testify that he looked at it, and before Maureen Comey plays it, she tells the judge, Your Honor, can we shut off the TV in the overflow room, and can we shut off the monitor for the lawyers? One of Diddy's lawyers, I'm not gonna say the name, he had his screen open, and for some reason his screen was still connected. Because Diddy's gallery was not full today, like I told you, there's 2 seats. I sit in the front row of the content creator seat. There's 7 of us and 7 in the back. Then there's an empty seat, and there's where Diddy's mom and his son sit, and then some of his like legal team. And this lawyer sits right beside Diddy. I was able to see right in the computer, and I cannot tell you what I saw. But it's I don't know. I don't want to say it's bad, but it's they definitely are like going in. Let's just say that. It was a I can't give you too many details because I'm not supposed to have seen it, so I want to respect the court. But it was red lit, and let me just say it was from Diddy's point of view. Let's just say that, okay? If you guys have ever watched any adult stuff and you've watched POV, that's what it was. That's what I saw. But when I was looking at it, I kind of had to lean a little bit and then people that were sitting with me was like, yo, why is Trent leaning? What is Trent seeing? And then other people started leaning, and then I told you earlier, the main security guard was like, hey, what are you guys doing here? And then he came exactly right behind me to look what I was seeing, and then he saw on the computer, he went right away to Diddy's lawyer. He's like, yo, close your laptop, the gallery is seeing. Of course, he didn't blame me. Of course, if you're gonna play it, I'm gonna see it. That's his fault, not my fault for looking. So he closed it down. I was able to see 3. They played the first one, second one. I was able to see 2 full and half of the third one. They played a total of 10, but yes, I actually saw a Diddy freak off. Crazy, crazy work, all right? Now, let's get into the freak offs. I asked you guys at lunch today, and I'll be able to get to your comments below. I wanna ask you guys a question. Now, everybody has their opinion if he's guilty or not. But I ask you guys this. How do you know what's on the freak off tapes? How do you know what the jury is actually seeing? Us in the gallery, we don't even get to see. I saw it by accident. Is it fair for us, the public, to be able to draw a conclusion without all of the evidence? We don't know what the jury is seeing on the tapes. Even when they play it for them privately and I have on headphones, the lawyers don't come around and say, well, you just saw this, you saw Diddy doing this, you saw Jane doing this. How do we know that parts of those tapes are not Diddy forcing, coercing? You don't know if there's fraudulent stuff going on. We don't know. So I just want you guys to keep that in the back of your head when you're like, yeah, Diddy's not guilty. Yo, free Diddy. You don't know what's on those freak-off tapes, and obviously there's something on there why the prosecution is playing it for them. Now, I say that with a grain of salt because, as you guys know, I'm very fair. On the flip side of the prosecution playing the video, they don't play the entire video, and this is what I have a problem with. I'll run down the 10 videos, and I'll let you know the timestamps that they tell the lady who's in the courtroom to play. I think her name is like, anyways, I don't want to give out her name. Let's just say it's Freak Off Tape Lady. Such a horrible name. They say, let's just call her Jane. No, not Jane, because Jane's in the video. Let's call her Susan, okay? Susan, can you play tape from 50 seconds till the end? Can you play the next one from the start to minute 45? Why are you stopping at minute 45? Who knows what happens at minute 50, minute 60, minute 70? If there was something on the tape from 0 to 45 that looks like it's incriminating Diddy, how do we know the full story unless we see the full tape? I talked about that at lunch. Some of you guys agree with me, some of you didn't. I feel like the jury should see the whole entire tape, but they don't. They only get to see what the prosecution submits. Now, the defense team gets to go back in under cross-examination, and we'll get to that, and they will be able to say, hey, the prosecution showed you from 0 to 45, but we want to show you 2 to 3. I don't think it's fair on either side. I think the jury should just see the whole entire tape because everything that's on that tape gives context, and I would want to see the whole entire thing. There was the third one that was a very short video. They played it. Listen to this one freak off. 0 to 45 seconds, and then stop it. Play it from 3 minutes till 5 minutes. Stop it, and then play it from minute 7:40 till the end. What's going on in the middle that you don't want us to see? Like, it's either force, fraud, or coercion, or it's not. You know what I'm saying? And if it's not, and if it is, play the whole tape. The next one was play from 1 minute to a minute, 3 minutes and 30. The next one was play from the beginning till 1 minute. Another one was from 3 to 4 minutes. And then it ends. I stopped writing because I was getting a little bit crazy. So again, put that in the chat. We'll talk about it after. What do you guys think about the prosecution and the defense being able to decide what parts of the freak out videos they get to see? Now let's get back to Joseph. Maureen called me, asked him, okay, so we just played, 8 videos for you, clips of freak offs. We just would like to know, we just like to tell you, the jury, that there are 20 other freak off tapes that we could play for you, but we decided not to. We would just like Joseph to testify that there are more videos. He said yes, and he gave a few dates. There's a freak off video from March the 15th, 2023, March the 21st, 2023, July the 4th, 2023, July the 30th, 2024, August the 8th, 2024. So just saying, you know what, we're not gonna play everything for you, but we know we have more, okay? Now let's get back to after the freak off tapes, they went back to showing intercontinental receipts that was a hotel, flights for Cabal, Venmo payments. Joshua Perez, who was Diddy's assistant, he was at the hotel. Payments from Bad Boy Enterprises. Jessica Ross, her name was on the hotel. I think that's probably an assistant. United Airline flights paying for Jane. Diddy sent $5,000 to Jane. Jane paid it off to one of the SCX workers. Jane in Miami, etc., etc. Okay, Brendan Paul, I'm just gonna go through these quickly, etc., etc. Okay, here is where I wanna start telling you the jury and my mind, okay? I have this in brackets. It says, at this point, I didn't write down the time, but I said, in this point, my mind is turning to mush. I have to stop writing because it's getting very repetitive. Every juror is yawning, and it looks like they're about to check out. Now, keep in mind, court starts at 9. We get around 8:30. Court starts at 9. If I'm writing this here, this is not even at break yet. My mind was already turning to mush. I wanted to tell you guys that, and it hasn't even become lunch yet. Just imagine what the jurors are thinking. They began, I wrote down here, the jurors started stretching. Let me go back. Diddy messages to KK. Can you see if Jane wants to come to NYC? KK says back to Diddy, no, Jane is not coming. Then Jane texts Diddy and says, I'm not coming to your house. I saw you on a podcast the other day, and you were talking about having SCX for 48 hours. She's talking about Young Miami. Jane says, I'm not into this. I'm not your toy. You have me locked up in a room, and I'm not. This is not what I expected out of our relationship. That's the only reason why you see me. That's the only reason why you pay for my house. I'm not doing this anymore. Diddy replies to Jane and says, come on, baby, let's talk. Jane says to KK, okay, I spoke with Diddy. I'm coming over now. Diddy and Jane, I love you. I can't wait to see you. Diddy then texts Paul Arthur, who is one of, I don't know if his last name is Arthur or Paul something, who's one of Jane's favorite girls, one of Jane's favorite guys. And then Diddy now texts Cowboys for Angels. He starts looking for a guy. Diddy sends a text message to Jane saying, hey, here are the link from Cowboys and Angels. Which one do you want to see? Now, let me pause there. That is a text thread that shows you Jane was not into it. She's like, no, I saw you on a podcast with Young Miami. I don't want to do freak offs. I don't like you, blah, 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 blah. And then you see Diddy, what the prosecution is trying to say is that Diddy's coercing her. Oh, no, it's not like that, baby. Come out, come out. The prosecution is trying to show, by way of text message, that Jane was coerced over text message. I leave that up to you guys. Is that a guy with his girl and his girl saying, yo, you're cheating on me, you're on podcast doing this, and he's like, yeah, nah, baby, you know I love you. That Young Miami thing, yo, that's just talk. You're my girl. You're the one who I want to be with. And some girls are like, all right, okay, cool, I'm gonna believe you. Is that a girlfriend and boyfriend having an open relationship and the girl being jealous, or is that forced fraud or coercion? I'm not on either side. I'm asking you, that text thread that I just took you through, what do you think that means, okay? So what I thought was very beneficial, even though the prosecution was putting this on, you saw how she didn't want to do a freak off. She said, I don't want to be treated like this. I'm not into it. Diddy changes her mind. She talks back to KK. Okay, I'm going to come and see him. But then Diddy sends her a link from Cowboy and Angel saying, you pick the guy. I thought that was a mistake. At least it was honest by the prosecution, but I thought it was a mistake to put that in there because I think that the text messages was, hey, just coming out. And then if somebody was under forced fraud or coercion, would he ask her to pick the guy? I don't know. So anyways, he sends the link. Then you hear Paul say, hey, I want to set up a freak off. Jane says, I'm picking a guy from the Cowboy and Indians. She replies, they get back together, they're talking. Like I said, this is really redundant. We heard all of this, so I'm just gonna go for it quickly. We hear a voice note that Diddy sends to KK saying we're running out of baby oil. Then he sends another voice note to KK. I need some more Cialis, please. Hey, what's up? I need some more Cialis. I don't want to keep bothering you guys. This is Diddy now at the freak off with Jane and somebody from Cowboys and Indians. Hold on, I have something here. If this case is going to be judged, okay, that's really not important. Okay, here, juror number 2, at this point here before lunch, jury number 2 is falling asleep. Falling asleep. While we're talking about this case that they're supposed to judge, juror number 2, falling asleep. That's why I showed you guys the seating of the jury. Jury number 8, yawning, holding his head back, frustrated, rubbing his neck. That's the white guy I feel, what's up, bro? That I feel like could vote not guilty for Diddy. Juror number 9, falling asleep. Before lunch, as they're talking back and forth about freak offs with Jane and a summary witness, I have written down here 2 jurors, juror number 12 and juror number 9, falling asleep, okay? Let me run through this quickly before cross-examination. There's another video of Diddy sending audio saying, yo, I need $15,000. I sent somebody $15,000. Then they show a picture of pills. They show a cash payment to Paul. Then they go through a text message with Jane and Diddy. Here is where it starts to get a little bit interesting. You can see a little bit of Jane not wanting to do freak offs anymore. Again, just want to remind you guys, this is very repetitive. We went through this with Jane on the stand, but a summary witness before the prosecution rests, they just want to go over it again. So don't blame me if it sounds repetitive, but they bring up this text thread. Jane says, I'm not an adult star. I've been here for 3 years having sex with strangers. I need a break. No more hotels. I'm built for love. I'm not built for sex with strangers. Listen to this. All you want me to do is suck, and while others, and you only want to do that with me and you want to take other girls, i.e. Young Miami, on vacation. When the prosecution and Joseph were reading this, juror number 9, Grandma, was so unimpressed. We are supposed to feel bad for Jane. We were supposed to feel like, here, this is Jane saying proof that she does not want to be here. This is proof that Jane's saying, yo, you're just using me. Hey, Will Wallace, thank you very much for the super chat. I'll get to your question in a second. We are at this point are supposed to be feeling like Jane wants to quit. Jane doesn't want to do these things, but I'm looking at the grandma who is juror number 9, and the reaction that I'm getting from her, what I feel is she feels a little bit of disgust to Jane that she is texting that she has done these things. I don't know if that's getting through to you guys. The text message of saying, all you want me to do is do this with D. All you want is this. And all you do is keep me. I feel like she feels like Jane shouldn't even be texting these things. Think about an older person, an older grandma. Yes, she definitely could understand that she might not want to do it, but for the past 3 years, you had me just doing this. I feel like the grandmother might look and be like, well, why were you doing this for the past 3 years? Why now are you only saying something? Again, just my opinion, and it's what I'm reading off of her face. When she's reading the text messages, some people are feeling bad for Jane, saying, oh my gosh, I feel for her. The grandma just has this look of like, whenever they read one of those words that I can't say on YouTube, she's just like, how come she even put herself in that situation? Again, juror number 5, the black woman falling asleep, her head was like nodding off this way. All right, so that was lunch, okay? Out for lunch around 12 o'clock. Now comes time for cross-examination. I'll run through that quickly and then I'll talk to you guys about rule number 29 and then we will get to answering your questions, all right? So after cross-examination starts now. It's around 1:30. We come back for lunch. Now, just remember everything I just said to you with with Jane. Most of the things was, I don't want to do this. I'm not here. It's been 3 years. You did this stuff with Young Miami. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. The prosecution making it look like Diddy is sex trafficking her under force, fraud, and coercion. That's what you heard in the morning. The videos that they played, all, I'm assuming, especially even from the ones that I saw, looking like Jane didn't want to be there, all right? Now, listen to the cross-examination. They start off with a shocking text from Jane. Listen to this. Jane texts Diddy, hey honey, I want you and I miss you. She's texting this to Diddy. Diddy replies, what's up babe, I miss you too. What do you want to do? Diddy is asking her what she wants to do. Listen to this. I'm gonna try to say what I can on YouTube. Jane goes and says, I want to do something to Paul's D with her mouth, deep, while you do something to me from behind. This is what she's saying to Diddy. Diddy's not saying that he wants to do a freak off. She initiates the conversation. What's up? Diddy said, yo, you want to hang out? What do you want to do? She's like, yo, I want both of you guys doing this to me. Okay, unprovoked. She goes on to say, how do I say this? Stroking one hard while the other is in, okay? Continue something with her mouth and something that's hard. Oh my gosh, I hope I don't get flagged. Then she goes on to say, Daddy left me alone, who is Diddy, and she sends him a picture. Diddy replies, woof. That's all they reply. The jury was shocked. I told you, before lunch, it was, she doesn't want to be here. Why are you doing this to me? This is not this. I'm made for love. I'm made to be an innocent woman. Why are you doing this? I don't want to be here. You go for lunch and you come back 45 minutes later and the defense are showing you text messages like this? Again, I'm not here to say whose side you be on or not, or if she was coerced or not. That's up for you to decide. But what I'm saying to you is this is a masterclass of the prosecution putting on a case of making it very believable that she does not want to do this and she's done. And the defense shows you a text thread like that around the same time. It will be up to the jury what they want to believe. And of course, up to you guys, although it doesn't matter, but it's up to you guys what you want to believe. Here's a next thread. It doesn't go as bad, but a text thread between Jane and Cabal. Jane initiates the text and says, hey, are you free this week? Cabal says, yes. She says, can you send me a pic of that? Jane says, Jane asks Cabal to get a pic of his Jane replies, wow, that's amazing. I miss it. Cabal says, you will never go hungry around me because I serve O's. You know what women want O's. So that's just like a little joke. You'll never go hungry around me. I just straight serving O's. Jane says, wow, I cannot wait. Just want to paint a picture for you. Diddy is not in this group text. This is Jane and Cabal. That's it. Again, some people might say, I have to say both sides, some people might say, this is what Jane feels like she has to do to keep Diddy pleased. And trauma bonding, and we heard about what Don Hughes says, but if you don't believe in trauma bonding, if you don't believe that she's doing this and you believe she's just sending these text messages on her own, which I think some jurors do, some jurors might have a hard time believing that on your own, without Diddy asking anything, you're basically flirting around with an SCX worker, asking him for a picture, telling him how amazing this is. We just showed you a text message before with her and Diddy saying how much she can't wait to have two of them. Again, it's up for you guys to decide. Jane says, can I fly you out right now? I'm H-word. I want you right now. She says that she is doing something to herself while looking at his pictures. I have a note here. Grandma is very not impressed, okay? She has her hand on her head like this, and she is literally like rolling her eyes. She is not impressed, okay? Hold on, I have a note. Hold on. Tenny, why didn't you include this? Okay, so then Jane now writes, it says, I'll give you extra, how do I say this? Jane says to Cabal, I'll pay you extra if you make me a lot of water, all right? I'm sure y'all know what I'm talking about. And Tenny, Diddy's co-counsel, Tenny Garagos, makes a strong point here. She asked Joseph, by the way, how come this morning when you were reading your text messages presenting your case, you never said anything about emojis? For example, when she just wrote, hey, I'll give you extra if you make me water, there was also a heart face and a kissing emoji. And as we know, a lot of things could be suggested through emojis. I felt that was a strong point to make, showing that the prosecution this morning was kind of trying to paint over the fact of, you know, that her text messages were emotionless and they didn't have any emojis there. And, you know, emojis are definitely important. Just to also remember, everything that I'm reading to you here that the defense is reading out, they're reading out because they want to show the jury that in the morning, Joseph, the summary that he put, he didn't include these things. So while Tenny is reading out these text messages, she's also asking him, why wasn't this in your chart this morning? Why didn't you put in that Jane was texting Cabal? Why didn't you put in the text messages between her and Diddy saying, I want both of you guys, I want a water, I want to pay you extra? There's a text message saying she will pay extra. This is supposed to be something for Diddy. Okay, let me continue. Jane says, I'm too excited. Cabal says, yeah, I'm excited too, baby. I can't wait to see you. Jane says, so now Cabal gets on a flight. Jane says, welcome to LA. I can't wait to see you. Then they sought the text message because Cabal now comes to the hotel. Then at the end of the night, this is very important because if Jane is supposed to be coerced, why is the night ending? This is what Tenny is saying. Thank you so much. I had such a great night. Thank you. Can't wait to see you again. Cabal says, thank you, baby. I loved it. The defense is showing before and after, Jane seems very willing. Just want to put a button on that, okay? Now, the defense is done with the text messages. They feel like they've made their point to the jury. Now it's the defense turn to play parts of the freak-off tape. And just like I said earlier, the prosecution picks their time, the defense picks their times. They played 1, 2, 3, I'm not gonna tell you the times, but they played 3 freak-off videos. But again, I'll just tell you one. One, they played 2 minutes and 11 seconds to 3 minutes and 7 seconds. Then the same video, 4 minutes and 30 seconds to 7:35, and then 9 to 11. One tape, but they're only showing 4 parts of the tape. What is going on with these whole freak-off tapes? I want to see the whole thing, yo, and I think the jury should see the whole thing. Tenny laughs and said, all right, guys, we're concluded with the videos for the day, because she knows they're hard to watch. She tried to make a joke and not one person laughed at all right? Are you recording me or are you having me like on a stream somewhere?
Oh, no, I'm not live at all.
Okay, just making sure we're not both live, you know what I mean? Okay, we're good. All right, Jane, okay, now we're going to Jane and an SEX worker. I'm not sure if this was Cabal or just another sex worker. Sorry, I meant to say SEX. Yeah, court today, yes. So they go back to text message. I'll get to this really quick. Jane saying, hey, are you free? The SEX worker says, no, I'm not free. Tell me when you're free. I really want to see you. I want you to F me. The S worker says, yeah, let's make this happen. Jane says, I really can't wait to get this going. I have a lot of energy for you. It continues back and forth. I stop rating. The SES worker says, I can make that P word keep throbbing all night long. Jane says, send me a picture. Then they go back to another text message with Jane and Cabal. You guys don't need me to read it to you because I've just read 3 of them. So basically the afternoon was the defense's part of the freak out videos that they want to show the jury to make it show that it was consensual, Jane was enjoying herself, and most of the afternoon was reading text messages between Jane and Diddy showing how much Jane wanted, and for that one example, Jane was initiating it, and how Jane was quote unquote flirting with SEX workers, Cabal and Paul without Diddy being there. Again, I just have to say, to be fair, this could be part of Diddy's coercion, making her do these things and do his bidding without him even being there. You have to take that in consideration. That is what the prosecution has told us with Don Hughes, that these, Cassie and Jane and his other victims, they're brainwashed, they're coerced into thinking they need to do this. That's why that's how Diddy is gonna keep paying for her house. That's Cassie needs to do this, or else Diddy's going to show her pictures and show her videos to people. You have to think that if this is their way for them to keep Diddy happy, they have to keep doing these things. So you have to look at it both ways. Some jurors might think, all right, if I have to think that, if I have to be that way, do I really need to ask him for pictures, or do I just need to get him into the hotel to make Diddy happy? That's up for you to decide. How far do you go when you're being coerced? Do you just say, hey, Paul, I want you to come over? Yes, da-da-da. Do you have to go and say, send me a pic. This is amazing. I want it to throb. I'll give you extra if you make me water. That's up for you guys to decide, okay? I think I've painted the picture well enough. Okay, now, let me tell you the shocking summary, and then I'll tell you Rule 29, and then I will get to your questions. Woo, 52 minutes. Guys, I am hot. Sorry, I need to take a break. Woo! Don't tell me I don't work for y'all, okay? Woo! Wow. Hold on, let me take a little break here. Let me take my preacher break. I am hot. Aren't you hot in all that black? Woo! I'm the preacher. I'm the courtroom preacher. Oh, praise the Lord. Woo! Hot, man. Okay. NBC is right beside me doing a little break. Thank you so much for the super chat. Alias S Brew. Okay, let me get to the schedule and then we'll get to Rule 29. So, it was the end of the day. The defense was like, we're done with Joseph. Here is the schedule. Tuesday, tomorrow, the defense is going to finish with Joseph. Tenny said she has an hour to an hour and a half left. Then they're going to give the jury a long break, and then the judge is going to listen to Rule 29, which I'm going to explain to you in a minute. If the judge agrees with Rule 29 and feels like the defense has an opportunity, they have a case for Rule 29, the case will be thrown out, it will be all done, we'll all go home. If that doesn't happen, on Wednesday, they're going to talk about the jury instructions, the jury verdict instructions. That's gonna happen Wednesday. Then on Thursday, they're gonna have closing arguments, the prosecution closing argument and the defense closing argument. They said each side will need 4 hours each, and then on Friday, they're gonna charge the jury, which is like, all right, jury, you heard the closing arguments, you heard everything, boom. So they're planning the schedule at the end of the day today was that the jury will get Jury instructions, and they'll charge the jury Friday. Now, did you guys hear something did you guys miss something? Do you guys feel like I missed something? Did you not hear something that's supposed to be in there? Just think about it. Tuesday, a long break, Rule 22, jury instructions, closing arguments, charge the jury Friday. What's missing, y'all? Let me see in the comment section. What's missing? What's missing? All right, let me tell y'all. The defense said nothing about a witness. There you go. Now you guys are seeing it. No witnesses. I love that. Danielle got it. RD got it. Produced by Tyler got it. Grand B got it. Low got it. Kerry got it. Yes, Lauren got it. Elite Boy got it. The defense today insinuated that, sorry, I don't know if you're recording. How do I hear my voice like yelling on NBC? The defense does not have anything in their schedule. I think the defense is not going to put anybody on the stand. Guys, do you know how huge that is? If Diddy goes to trial for this long, Diddy has gone through trial this long and doesn't put one person on the stand, what does that mean? Corey says that the prosecution hasn't proven anything. There's enough reasonable doubt. Again, it's not what I'm saying, but I'm asking you, what happens when the defense puts no witnesses on? What the heck is going on? When this case started, Mark, I keep forgetting his last name. Mark Alfigano, whatever his name is. Sorry, Mark. I see him every day. Mark Garagos. Mark Garagos told TMZ, yo, this is about a case about the federal prosecution bringing down a black man. Then we didn't hear about that. Then we heard 3 weeks. Then we heard 2 weeks. Then we heard 1 week. Then we heard two to 5 days. And now today I hear nothing, zero, no witnesses. Wow. I still think that's brave. I think they should at least bring one person to counteract what Don Hughes said about trauma bonding, and they should have their own expert that says, no, you shouldn't listen to that or whatever. And I do believe Don, because I'm a mental health advocate, so I know everything about trauma bonding, but the defense should try to get that out the jury's mind. But it tells you they do not think the jury has proven anything beyond a reasonable doubt, and they don't even think for 1 second that they need to do any work to prove their case. And you got to think strategy-wise. I keep talking to you guys about strategy. What does that say to the jury? What does that say to the jury? The fact that the prosecution put on a case for close to 6 weeks, had all of this testimony, and the defense is like, I'm not even going to do anything. You're not even worth talking to me. It's a brave strategy, but it's a strategy nonetheless. That is the schedule, folks. Let me tell you what Rule 29 is. And then we can go to the comment section. Rule 29. All right. Rule 29. Motion to dismiss a case before it is put forth. Sorry. A motion to dismiss the case before they put on their case and without going to the jury. It's a motion that the defense is saying, yo, before we even put on our case, we think this case should be dismissed. Well, why do you think it should be dismissed, defense? They feel the prosecution has not met their burden to establish a matter of law that Diddy committed at least one or up to 3 of the charges that he is being accused of. That goes to them not even putting a defense. Tomorrow morning, Diddy's defense team is going to put on a case in front of the judge, and they feel like they have enough proof that the prosecution did not do their job, that they did not meet the burden of proof. Therefore, the judge should do his job and throw the case out because the burden of proof was not met. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? And I would like to also add one thing. Rule 29, it's not a broad stroke. It could be they didn't prove the burden of proof on RICO. Throw the RICO out. They didn't they didn't prove beyond a reasonable doubt. They didn't establish the SEX trafficking, forced product coercion. Throw that out. Leave the RICO, or throw out the SEX of women selling this. It could be a broad stroke. It could be one. It could be two. Of course, they're going to try for all 5 charges, but the judge could tomorrow look and say, the defense has a point. They did not put on a strong enough case. There was enough holes that I didn't think the prosecution has not met the burden of proof to establish a matter of law that Diddy committed at least 1 or 3 of these charges. And he could tomorrow throw out the entire case. We could be going home tomorrow, y'all. That is Rule 29. What do y'all think? All right, I made it to 1 hour exactly. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Bah, 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 bah. Let me get to your questions. Wow, I didn't even plan that to land an hour. I was like, yo, let me try to get this done within an hour. I really finished it in 1 hour and 45 minutes. What do y'all think about Rule 29? Do you guys think that the prosecution has met their, let me get the exact term. The prosecution has not met their burden to establish as a matter of law that Diddy committed at least 1 or up to 3 of their charges, and the case should be thrown out. What do you guys think? Thank you. You think I did an amazing job? Thank you. Thank you. All right. Somebody says throw it out. Somebody says Deborah is always wrong. Somebody says they easily met the burden. Another person says they haven't. Life, no probation. Somebody says, who is next? Smokey Robinson. Okay, let's not even talk about Smokey. Somebody says, hit the like button, y'all. Trent, showing Trent support. Thank you very much. Absolutely, they haven't totally dropped the ball. Okay. Somebody said he better get off. Somebody says this case is BS. Just right there, I just read very quickly 10 people just in my comment section alone on my YouTube channel, and look how divided it is. There are people that do not think the government has met their burden of proof, that they haven't shown enough evidence for some of these charges, and it could get thrown out. Tomorrow, it could get thrown out by the end of the day tomorrow, and we don't even go to the jury. We don't know what's going to happen. Of course, stay tuned. We'll talk about it more in the morning. But a lot of legal experts says that there could be a case. There's Brian Steele and what's his name leaving right now, actually, Xavier Donaldson. They are done for the day. All right, let me scroll up and get to some questions that you guys may have. All right, let's see. The defense, hold on. The defense, oh, I can't go that high. Wow, it's coming so far out. Oh, hold on, it's going to, somebody says he walks. He said, let Diddy free, love a freak off. They don't need to. The prosecution hasn't proven their case. They have not done that. He's guilty, or he's not guilty, sorry. No witnesses. Wow, yeah, I'm still shocked. I'm still shocked at that, y'all. The defense having no witness at all. Whew, that is bold, bold, bold. All right, let me see a little bit more. All the witnesses are okay. Bro, get out of the line. And they threw the, okay, I don't know this. Changing strategy. Okay, when I go too far up and you guys keep writing, it bounces. I think he would get off because people clearly don't understand about RICO. They only need to prove 2, and they have proven 6. Your choice. I don't know if they've proven all 6, but yes, they do in their charges. They are listing 6 charges under the RICO Act that they feel like Diddy committed. And yes, you are right. They only have to prove 2 in a matter of the past 10 years, which is very, very, very wide. But a lot of people do not think. Just to give you guys some context, there was a lot of testimony about RICO, but how much direct evidence was there in RICO? I just want to have you guys answer that. Somebody says a direct verdict. Somebody says guilty of RICO. Somebody says Rule 29 is normal. Just gonna wait on the jury. Somebody said reasonable doubt. Welcome home party for Justin on Friday. Prosecution failed big time. See, Corey Simmons said that. Another person said Rule 29 is standard practice. It is standard, but what is important about Rule 29 is that how much basis do they have? Are they just doing it frivolously, or do they have grounds? And from the legal experts that I've talked to, and just from people I've talked to just in the courtroom, they feel like there are grounds. It will be up to the judge to decide that tomorrow. We'll see if there's grounds or not. I have no skin in the game. I'm just telling you what people are telling me. The motion won't be granted. It's for show. Get your opinion. Hit the like button, y'all. Show Trent some support. Rule 29, Rule 29. Free Diddy. True. Trent, it happens all the time. It's normal. All right, all right. Throw the case out. Okay, somebody see charge dismissed. That sounds good, but them, what? They not really, because if they don't hear anything from the defense, it's like them saying, okay, he's guilty. Do too many actors have spoken? Even avoid him. It's like the plague. The defense is a fool. All right. I think Diddy is guilty. That's what Kerry Thomas said. They literally did. Not going to happen. It will be denied. Brian Steele is king. They have proven all. Game is over. He has 8 charges, not 5. Okay, fair. They are doing that because that's what Diddy wants them to do. Well, of course, that's their right to do that, right? Somebody says, still want Cassie, free Diddy. My girl asked me for a kiss. Okay, why are you saying that? Burden of proof was not met. There you go. Somebody saying again that burden of proof was not met. It's very easy to say, oh, this is standard. The judge is going to throw it out. You never know. You never know. I'm not saying 100% that he is going to throw it out. I'm not saying, all I'm just saying is that even the judge said, I do have to look at everything. And he could maybe throw 1 charge out. He could throw 2 charges out, or he could throw none of them out. You don't know. You always have to keep an eye on things and keep the possibilities open. You have no idea what is going to happen. Somebody said I did an amazing job. Thank you very much. Somebody said throw it out. Somebody said prison. I love how divided my chat is. I love that. Life, no probation, no parole. Who is next? Smokey Robinson. Okay, I read that already. The case is BS. The problem is people mixed up the civil case with the criminal case. Oh my gosh, love you. Love Mara said that. I totally agree. This is really, really, really us, the public and content creators, really thought this was going to be about, you know, LeBron James and Jennifer Lopez and this person and that person. And we thought it was going to be so salacious and Jay-Z and all of this stuff. And it really came down to, now that the prosecution is going to rest tomorrow, it really came down to Cassie, Mia, Bonna, and Jane. You know, there's supposed to be another victim, but, you know, she didn't end up showing up. But there was nothing else of these civil cases. And I feel that's why a lot of people feel like he's not guilty, because we were so, we were building ourselves up for so much more. Another person said, throw it out. Hit the like button, y'all. Show Trent some support. For real, for real, for real. Somebody said, okay, I'm not going to say that. Down for life. Diddy, don't throw it out. No defense witnesses. All these stars have spoken that they should be used. Yes, the judge is not letting that Rule 23 happen. He shuts down the defense every time. All right. Trent, amazing job. Rule 29 might be a possibility. Love the work. Thank you very much. All right, here we go. Not the prosecutors haven't met the burden of proof, but the biased judge, but the biased judge may dismiss it. You think the judge is biased? I don't think he's biased. I think he's pretty fair, but you never know. You never know. Diddy is a very, very influential guy. Diddy got money. I'm just saying. Y'all want to sit down here and count it out? I don't know. Somebody says, I'm so confused by no witnesses. I am 100% confused. I am I wouldn't say the right word is confused, because I understand the strategy. I just think it is very daring. I think that they're taking a chance. But they have, you guys have to understand, like, you know, yes, I have experience in the courtroom and I have experience in this, but I don't have nearly the amount of experience, and I don't assume that anybody else on this live has more experience than some people like, Tenny Garagos or, Brian Steele or Xavier or Nicole Westmoreland. But not only is it a very experienced defense team, they also have a very experienced people that they're consulting with. Tenny's dad, Mark Garagos, he's very experienced. He's consulting. They have jury consultants. They have people that day in, day out, all they do is sit down and watch jurors. So somebody somewhere must be telling them, don't put on any witnesses, rest. And from what I could see, like I told you today, that's why I wanted to give you guys a little, introspective of what I was seeing with the jurors. It could not only just be that they feel like they have 1 or 2 jurors, it could just be like, yo, we want to do the jury solid and get them out of here. And the juror might be like, I never wanted to be here in the first place. This is jury selection. I tried to get out of it. They kept me. Yo, I don't want to be here, man. Not guilty. I don't feel like they would rush to put somebody away for life, but I feel they would rush to have somebody not guilty. You wouldn't rush and say guilty. So I just feel there's a sense of rush. A lot of people are saying that. They only need to prove 2 out of the 8 charges, and then even just, oh shoot, that dropped. Hold on, let me scroll a little further down. Sorry, I'm skipping some, guys. In my opinion, based on the evidence already presented and without needing any further testimony, the prosecution has made a strong case on charges 13C, bribery 13H, and DRG distribution. All right, fair. That's just me's opinion. I respect that. They have not met the standards. I also would like to know, you think they met RICO, but just Mel, do you think that they met the for the SEX trafficking under force, fraud, and coercion? I would like to know that. This is a adult case. Okay. They haven't proven that Combs' enterprise is an organization that is pushing workers. Somebody said Jane is a... can you list the evidence that does and does not prove RICO and not your opinion? We have done that throughout the time that we were here. Whenever there is evidence that applies to RICO, whether it be Brendan Paul's testimony, I'm like, hey, this goes to RICO, this goes to SEX trafficking. I've done that every day. Not having his accountant take the stance for his defense. Shocking. I guess, again, when you flip the prosecution's witnesses and make them say things that you would bring somebody on to say, that's very telling. Okay, my phone is at 4%. Hold on. I'm gonna have to end soon because I don't want my phone to die. Hold on. All right, I'm gonna skip, guys, because I don't want my phone to die. Hold on, I got a super chat from Will Willis. In my opinion, the government has only proven that Diddy likes DRUGs and he puts hands on people, and he's a John and a guy that likes to sit down in rooms. So basically, Will Wallace is saying no RICO. All right, guys, my phone is at 4%. I got to scroll down all the way down. Let me know quickly. I'll stay on for like 2 more minutes. I wonder if I could put on my charger. I don't want to take the risk. All right, great job, Trent. Anything else quickly? I'm going to go off in like 2 minutes. Trent being from the islands makes him not get overwhelmed in the heat. I feel you, but I still need some air conditioning. Trent being from the islands. Okay, you said that. Somebody bring Trent some water, please. Please, I gotta go literally right now and buy a freezing cold bottle of water. Somebody says, you rock, great job. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you, great job. Appreciate y'all. Love from Boston. 100% guilt was proven, all right. Diddy, the modern day PIMP. Why don't you, what? Curse? Okay, no. Guilt for a lot of things. This is only half what is proven. Somebody said, thank you. Cool fruit, Trent. Get some cool fruit, Trent, for real. I'm gonna get some mango or something, or some pineapple. Let me just check. All right, I'm still at 4%. Any other questions, comments? Love y'all. Don't forget, I'll be on tomorrow, 7 a.m. I always stick around here and I talk to some people who are leaving. Diddy's lawyers just left. I'm going to try to get some inside information, try to get some more information on Rule 29. Don't be fooled and think that, yes, this is something that defense attorneys do all the time. Yes, it is, but sometimes it does work, and sometimes you can get 1 or 2 charges off. I'll try to give you guys as much information as possible tomorrow about that, okay? Tune in live tomorrow at 7 a.m. I will let you give you guys some more information, and of course at lunch, end of day, okay? That is it. What's up? Oh, that's the sketch artist. She's so great. Trent for president. I gotta do my salute before I go. Shout out to my Mondays, man. All right, I am actually going to record my traditional podcast that will be on tonight around 11 o'clock. I'm sorry to my real out louders who always watch the podcast. I normally try to get it up at 8, but covering this Diddy trial, our schedule is messed up. We do a podcast of entertainment, political, and viral news. I'm going right now to the studio to record that. I'm gonna get some water and pineapple and mango before I do that, all right? All right, I will see you guys tomorrow, 7 a.m. Thanks for kicking it with me. We had a great day. Peace. Stay good. We'll see you tomorrow. Deuces.